We can have all the positive conversations about love and what love looks like, but whoever really tells you about what love shouldn't look like? That's inconsistent, because it does not relate to the version of them that you know, that you've always known them to be. The consistency doesn't waver. The consistency stays the same, irrespective of the fact that it's good or it's bad. Conditional affection is not where love lives. And you hold on to it. And you hold on to it for months. And some people even hold on to it for years. That is an unspoken grudge. Do you know any of the people that they keep around them outside of you? Because silent treatment is one thing, but if you're giving it to the person as a punishment, you're using it as a manipulative tack. You're manipulating the situation so that it turns in a way that it benefits you. Do you know how painful it is to not even know why somebody has literally locked you out? Hey everybody, welcome back to I Have Thoughts. Welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for choosing me over and over and over again. I'm so excited to film this video because I have thoughts, and I always have thoughts. But with this one, it's a little bit on the special side because I'm filming this video in Valentine's Day week. It might only go up the week after Valentine's Day, but I think it's really important to have this conversation because we're so bombarded with what love is and what love should look like, but no one really talks about what love shouldn't look like. And so many times we find ourselves in these toxic relationships or toxic spaces where we think this is what it should look like. Yeah, sometimes it's difficult, sometimes it's a bit of a struggle, sometimes it's a bit of this, but honestly speaking, there are certain things where it should not be like that. That is not what love looks like, and I wanted to share that with you. All right, so welcome back. It is I Have Thoughts, Real Talk, and today we're doing a little bit of a special one because it's about love, but it's also about me sharing some of the things that I have experienced, given the fact that I'm a little bit older than you watching right now. Yeah. So I do have a little bit of experience when it comes to this, and because of the choices that I've made, I may have lost love or gained love or anything of the sort, but I am trying to find my way around love, and because of that, I know what it doesn't look like, what it shouldn't look like. And I think it's very important to have those kinds of conversations. We can have all the positive conversations about love and what love looks like, but whoever really tells you about what love shouldn't look like? And this is what I was thinking about. So this video is going to drop. It might not drop on Valentine's Day week, but it will drop the week after. And I'm really excited to share this with you because I think it is important for us to have these kinds of conversations. And as the older sister of the internet, of this space that you are watching, I think it's also important to be able to recognize the signs of what love should not look like. This is not love. No matter what anyone says, no matter how coated it may look, and it should not look like this. So let's get into the video. Thank you as always for choosing me over and over again. Let's get into I Have Thoughts. So the reason why I wanted to do this video is because I have had my fair share of relationships where it worked out, it didn't work out, they were long-term, they were not long-term. Largely for me, a lot of the relationships that I've had in my adulthood were long-term relationships. So I've never really been in a relationship where I can say, oh, it was only 8 months. But I can tell you that I've been in a relationship that was 2 years or 3 years. Longest one I've had was about 3 years. So I wanted to share some of the things that I have learned in that time, and I've wanted to share some of the things that I know for a fact, especially now being in my single era and willing to go out, meet people, all of this. I know what it does not look like. I know what love shouldn't be looking like. And I do know what it looks like, yes, but I also know what it doesn't look like. And I think that's the conversation that we need to have today. And it's really important because that'll help you distinguish when a relationship is toxic and when it is not healthy, and no kind of love, no kind of healthy grown love is toxic or manipulative or full of resentment. There's just so many things, and love shouldn't need to feel like a struggle love. It shouldn't need to feel difficult for it to be classified as love. So once it gets to a certain point, relationships all get to a certain point where things kind of slow down, the whimsicalness of the relationship, the magicalness of the relationship seems to go away, and you kind of settle into each other and you settle into the relationship, and other things will start to appear, other things you'll start to see with regards to your partner or even yourself. And you need to know what it shouldn't look like, even if you are the one displaying those signs or if they are the ones displaying those signs. And that's what I was sitting and thinking about last night in bed while I was journaling. And I'm like, maybe somebody needs to share this part of the love story that is not what love should look like. So the first one, I think, is one that we are all familiar with, but it's a little bit tricky, right? Love shouldn't look like control disguised as care. Do you understand what I'm saying? It should not look like some kind of control that is disguised as care. Think about somebody who you're in a relationship with a partner who tells you that, I don't like it when you dress like this might be a little bit too revealing, I don't know, or do you feel comfortable in that? Are you sure that's safe for you to wear, especially if you're going out to the club or you're going out somewhere? Or maybe I don't think you should eat this because, you've got whatever struggles with your body. Or maybe someone is telling you that they don't think you should do this particular thing. I feel like you shouldn't be going out to the clubs late at night. It's in Pretoria, it's in this, it's so far away, and all of this. Love does not look like control disguised as care. There's points where someone is trying to control you, all in the name of love. Right? They're trying to control how you dress. They're trying to control how you communicate. They're trying to manipulate how you communicate. They're trying to manipulate your feelings towards something so that they can be in control. They're trying to muzzle you sometimes so that they can be in control. They're trying to control how you think so that you end up feeling like maybe they're right. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm the one who's kind of losing the plot here a little bit. I mean, I get it, right? I get where they're coming from. I get that they mean it in this way because they care about me. They're only saying this because they care about me. Love should never look like control disguised as care. Somebody can come and say whatever it is that they want to say, but if it's jealousy, and it's jealousy to a point where you know that this is unhealthy, this is the form of jealousy that's kind of going a little bit overboard, then it is not love, because it is a way in which somebody is trying to show that they care, but they're exerting some kind of control over you. Because why are you jealous at the fact that I'm going out with my girlfriends? I used to do this all the time. I used to do this even before I met you. I used to tell you all these stories. Now all of a sudden there seems to be a problem with the fact that I'm going out with my girlfriends. They try to disguise care just so that they can find a way to control you or to control what you think or what you say. Sometimes it gets to a point where they even get into your mind like that, where you question yourself or where you doubt yourself, and you end up questioning the things and the decisions that you make. This happens a lot with narcissists, right? You question the things and the decisions that you make because you feel like they're only doing this because they care. Love should never feel like control disguised as care. I mean, I'm just saying. Love doesn't look like inconsistency. I think we've spoken about this on this channel quite a number of times. It doesn't matter whether it was in a Candid with Kat or it was in an Unpopular Opinions. Inconsistency is not love. Because at the end of the day, you need to be in a relationship where there is some sort of consistency that you share with your partner together. That is love. They need to be consistent in how they show up for the relationship. They need to be consistent in how they show up for you. They don't choose when they get to be consistent and when they don't get to be consistent. Consistency means that you wake up and you show up every day for that person. So if somebody is going to be great this 1 week, right? The calls are coming in, the checking in on you, the going out on the dates, the having fun, the doing this. And then 2 weeks from now, that completely changes. Now they don't call you anymore. And when you call them, they don't pick up. And you know that before they used to pick up, right? Or they used to get back to you within 10, 15, 20 minutes. Even if they don't call you back, but they will send you a text and say, listen, I'm busy with something. Can I give you a shout? And you know that they would always give you a shout a little bit later. It doesn't look like somebody who says, I'll give you a shout, and then they don't. That's inconsistent because it does not relate to the version of them that you know, that you've always known them to be. So they now exercise this form of inconsistency. Initially, they used to take you out for dinner dates and lunch dates and all of this. And now all of a sudden, all they want to do is sit in the house, chill, do nothing, spend less and less time with you. In fact, now, before, they used to be always available for you, right? They would come see you even after work, right? They would spend weekends with you. They would do all of this. Now, all of a sudden, it's, oh, I've got to do this weekend. I can't. Can I come and try and see you on whatever? Or, no, this person is coming through, so I won't be able to come. Whereas you know that before, this person would be coming through, or they'd be busy doing their own thing initially, and you would find a way to link up later on in the day or to spend time together. So there's always a compromise, right? You reach the point where you're like, okay, I get that you've got something to do, but then they always make the time for you a little bit later on. That's consistency. But when you start noticing these patterns here and there, where you are realizing that this is not how you used to be with me. Now you don't call as much. Now you don't see me as much. Now you're always busy doing something, right? There's always something going on that you realize that this is not the way the person used to be. That is inconsistency. Love doesn't look like inconsistency. Love looks like genuine, constant showing up for the relationship, especially in bad times as well. So it's good and bad. You know how sometimes someone will always be consistent when things are good. When it's fun, they're consistent all the time. But when the relationship reaches a space where it's a little bit tricky now, right? It's a little bit rough now. It's a little bit hard now. And you realize that, okay, this is not what I thought. What? When it's tricky, they resort back into a mode of inconsistency, right? So when it's tricky, they don't want to call as much because it's tricky. When it's tricky, they don't want to see you as much because it's tricky. With love, you show up all the time. You show up when it's grand, when it's fabulous, and you show up even when the times are tough. If you are somebody who struggles with a mental illness, right, or a mental struggle, your partner shows up even during your times of mental struggle or your mental difficulty, right? So the consistency doesn't waver. The consistency stays the same, irrespective of the fact that it's good or it's bad. Love does not ever look like inconsistency. It'll never look like it. So also, love doesn't look like conditional affection. So they don't love you only when it suits them. They don't be affectionate only when it suits them or when it's convenient for them, right? So at which periods do you experience affection with your partner? Is your partner typically more affectionate when they're happier, and they don't become as affectionate when they're not happy? when they're stressed. That's normal with some relationships, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the affection drops altogether. You know, in the beginning stages of a relationship, right? It's whimsical, it's magical, it's fun, it's enjoyable. And then, of course, you know, we settle in, as I always say, we settle into the relationship. And then you get to the point where you start to realize that, you know, they might be going through a tough time at work, or they might be going through a tough time with their mental struggles, right? And you realize that they are not as affectionate. They don't completely lose that affection towards you, right? But it just may drop. It may fade a little bit, and it's only just for that time being. And especially it becomes even more important when, as the partner, you mention this and you say that, I realize recently you haven't been as affectionate towards me. What's going on? I don't like this. You know, you and I are always so affectionate with each other. Am I missing something? Are you upset at something? So if you raise the conversation or you raise the communication, and they say, oh, you know, I'm sorry, you're right, yep, I've just been stressed out at work, but, you know, that's not on you. Then you expect the change to then come in after that, right? But then maybe it doesn't. Conditional affection is not where love lives. Love is going to be affectionate at all times. It's going to give you that affection that you know and that you are used to. So not everybody is as affectionate as you, right? You might show affection in the 5 different love languages, right? You might show affection in different ways. And that person knows you to show affection in those different ways from the moment you started. But that should be kept with the consistency throughout the relationship, even in times of difficulty and of struggle. It might wane a little bit. It might fade a little bit during a certain time. Maybe you are going through a period of grief. And in a period of grief, it's really difficult to become affectionate to your partner because you've just lost someone you care about. You may have lost a friend, or you are grieving a friendship breakup, or you are grieving the loss of a family member. Of course, your affection is going to wane a little bit because you are going through something. But it doesn't mean it wanes for forever. At some point, especially once it gets to the point where your partner starts to voice it, because any normal human being with a rational head on their shoulders will think that, okay, she's going through this. It's not the right time to be affectionate. It's not the right time. It's fine. But then if it goes on and on and on, and then it becomes months and months of this, then you realize that, okay, you become affectionate towards me only when you want something. I don't understand how that works, right? What if I want the affection from you? What if I want you to be affectionate towards me? And then you can't give me that. You can't give me that reciprocation. However, you want me to be affectionate towards you. You know, those are the things that you kind of need to consider and think about, especially in times in relationship. Love does not look like conditional affection. It doesn't look like it. Love doesn't look like... Ooh, and this one is crazy because this one is so true, and so many people are guilty of doing this. Love doesn't look like unspoken resentment. Do you understand? It doesn't look like unspoken resentment. If you're going to hold a grudge against your partner for something that they did when they were angry or when they were vulnerable or whatever, and you are going to hold on to that thing for months and sometimes even years, that is an unspoken resentment, because at the end of the day, they might not even know that you are holding that resentment towards them. And they may have done that thing, or whatever that action was, or whatever they said, in a moment of vulnerability, in a moment where they were upset and they were angry. And everybody has a moment of vulnerability where they say something, or they do something, or don't do something, right? And now you are now upset because of that, right? And you're thinking to yourself, wow, I will never forget the day that you said this. And you hold on to it. And you hold on to it for months. And some people even hold on to it for years. That is an unspoken grudge that you have against your partner. That is not what love looks like. If you are upset with something that your partner has said in the middle of a fight, you mention it. You might not mention it then in the moment because, of course, you're overwrought with shock and you cannot believe that they've just said that, right? Okay, so maybe you wait for things to cool down a little bit. And then you come back and you say, a couple of days later, and you say, that night when you said ABCZ, that really hurt me. That really made me feel some type of way. That really made me blah, blah, blah. That's when you get to a point where you communicate about it and your partner says, I'm sorry. I'm aware that I said that. I'm sorry. Even better if they come back to you and say it before you even mentioned that you had a problem with that one thing. Right. But sometimes people might say things in the middle of a heated fight or vulnerability where they're sad and stressed out, right? Where they might say something that is not enough of a deal breaker, but it's hurtful nonetheless, right? And now if you're going to carry that with you for months and months and they have no idea that this is affecting you the way that it is, and you hold this grudge towards them, that is an unspoken resentment that you have towards your partner. And how do you expect any form of healing, growth, understanding, anything to happen or come from that when you know very, very well that you're holding this thing against them? So everything that they do and say, you always have that thing in the back of your mind. Well, 6 months ago, she said this, this, this. 7 months ago, he said this, this, this. That's an unspoken resentment. There is no way you're going to ever be able to see your partner in a positive, warm, soft light like you did before if you hold on to grudges. Sometimes people have unspoken resentments towards you, and because of that, they decide not to engage you in the way that you know them to engage you anymore. They just don't. They completely change towards you because of this unspoken resentment that they have. So they distance themselves from you. They silent with you. They refuse to actually engage with you in moments of disagreements or vulnerability. And that because of just that thing, it changes the dynamic of the relationship completely. It opens up doors where you find reasons to dislike your partner more and more and more. And so now the cons of your partner, based on 2 or 3 or 4 things that they did 6 months, 8 months, a year, 2 years ago, you hold on to that and you find more and more reasons to dislike them. And the craziest thing about that is they don't even know. They don't even know that that's how you feel. Unspoken resentment is not love. It's not. Neglect. Love is not neglect. It doesn't look like neglect. If your emotions are neglected, that's not love. If your physical needs are neglected, that's not love. If your sexual needs are neglected, that's not love. If your emotional needs are neglected, that is not love. If somebody is going to neglect parts of you that are so important for the flourishing and the continuation of the relationship to happen, that is neglect. It is not love. So some people like to have very sexually active relationships, whereas their partner is not as sexually active as they are, right? And that now becomes a very tricky situation to be in, especially when the relationship has stabilized, because of course in the magical and whimsical honeymoon stage of the relationship, you're at it like monkeys. You know what I'm saying? You're at it all the time. But now you realize that you are the one who likes to have this thing regularly and they don't, and they're just not about that. And they don't take your concerns and you raising this issue seriously, and that falls into the scope of neglect. If you feel like your emotional needs are neglected, they don't listen to you the way they used to, they don't act in such a way that they used to act, they don't ABCZ, whatever it may be, fill in the blanks, right? If those needs aren't met, then they are neglected. And it becomes worse if they were met initially before, in the beginning, and now they're no longer met anymore. That is a form of neglect. Love is not neglect. Love should never look like neglect. Love is not neglect, period, point blank. So if you feel like your emotional needs and wants are neglected, then that is a problem. You shouldn't ever have to find yourself begging for love, attention, affection, begging for them to listen to you, begging for them to spend time with you, begging for them to be around you, be with you, begging for them to tell you what's wrong, begging for them to... That is neglect. You shouldn't have to find yourself begging for those kinds of things. That's not what love looks like. I'm just saying. I think this one is a big one for so many people. Emotional unavailability. You know, somebody can be in your space physically, but emotionally be completely gone. You could be talking to them every day, seeing them every day, sleeping in the same bed with them every single day. Yeah? But emotionally, they are absolutely gone. They're out of there. They're out of there. They decided they're out of there. They're gone. Emotional unavailability is very difficult to handle, especially for the person who is suffering at the hands of the partner who is emotionally unavailable. You need to understand that emotional unavailability ends up looking like not being seen, not being heard, not being respected, because love is also not... Love is not disrespect, right? So sometimes somebody is emotionally unavailable. They do not want to talk about the things that matter, the serious things. They do not want to confront disagreements. They will walk away from you. They will give you the silent treatment. They will treat you in such a way that you don't know them to treat you. You've never seen them treat you like this before, right? So that emotional unavailability. But in distance, in proximity, they're right here. You talk to them every day. See them every day. You lay in the same bed with them every day. You eat dinner together after work every single day. But you realize that when it comes to certain things, topics, they're very far from you. You cannot tap into them like you used to. They don't want to tap into you. Yeah, sure, they might be going through their thing. That's fine. That's also fair. But now if they're not even disclosing the fact that I'm like this because I'm upset at 1, 2, 3, or I'm stressed out at work, or I'm this. I'm sorry. It's just the time that I'm in right now. It's kind of but now you realize that they're starting to do this more and more often. They're literally withdrawing from you, especially when it comes to serious things. Because with fun things, everybody's a good time. Everybody's fun. We're coming into this. We're all fun. We're all happy. But with serious things, once you start realizing somebody distance themselves from you, that's when you start to pick up on the emotional unavailability. Within proximity, they're right next to you, but emotionally and mentally, they're completely gone. That is not what love should look like. Another thing that love shouldn't look like, silent treatment disguised as punishment. When silent treatment, and I've always said this, silent treatment is a form of emotional abuse, okay? And people have various reasons why they could be silent treatmentizing you. You know what I'm saying? They could have various reasons why they're silent treatmentizing you. However, if it's after a fight and they silent treatmentize you, if it's because they're going through something at work or with their family and they silent treatmentize you, treatmentize is not a word, but you hear my chat, right? If they are going through something in their head, they're stressed out about something and they silent treatmentize you, it is a form of emotional abuse. And I don't care who says what, because at the end of the day, do you know how painful it is to not even know why somebody has literally locked you out? And anytime you choose to, or you try rather to engage with them, they're not coming to the party. They refuse to actually listen to anything that you have to say. They refuse to actually engage with you in any way, shape, or form. That is a form of silent treatment, and they use it as a way to punish you. Now, it becomes even more detrimental when they use it as a way to punish you. They're just like, you know what? She's doing too much. He's doing too much. And net for dating, I'm not going to say a damn thing. I'm not even going to engage that person at all. I don't want to do it They could be doing that because that's a self-soothing technique on their side, when they don't know what to say. Sometimes somebody doesn't know what to say. That's fair. However, if you have mentioned before that I do not like it when you do this, you lock me out after a fight or a disagreement, and I'm trying to understand that how long are we doing this for? Somebody can keep quiet for the afternoon, a couple of hours. You had a big fight in the morning, they decide to just keep to themselves for a couple of hours or the afternoon. That's fair. That's normal. I don't want to talk right now. They text you, right? I don't want to talk right now. Let me call you let's talk about this later at home. Or let me call you a little bit later. That's fair. Everybody needs their moment. Everybody needs their space. But if it's bordering on 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, a week, imagine if you live with that person and it's a week where you are not speaking. They're just not engaging you at all. That is not okay. That is not what love looks like. Because no matter how much that person may have hurt you and you feel the need to go silent, you need to realize how that impacts them, right? So if you've gone silent for 3 days, how do you think that impacts your partner? How do you think it makes them feel? It makes them feel unwanted, right? It makes them feel like you don't care about them, discarded, neglected, because now you're neglecting the fact that they need you to come together with them so that you can work through this. That's the only way it'll work, right? That's the only way it'll work. They need you to come through together with them so you can work through this. No one deserves to be ignored or ill-treated or given the silent treatment as a punishment. It's different, right? Because silent treatment is one thing, but if you're giving it to the person as a punishment, you're using it as a manipulative tack. You're manipulating the situation so that it turns in a way that it benefits you. Now they're chasing after you. Now they're saying, please, and you are eating that up. There are people who are just they revel in the fact that their partner is going through a tough time. They are. I hate to say it. Woo! I haven't bit my tongue on that one because it's so true. They are. They revel in the fact that their partner is going through a really difficult time. There are people who are like that. And so because of that, they go quiet, they manipulate, they gaslight the situation. Love is not gaslighting. Love is not manipulating. If somebody is going to change the situation in such a way that it benefits them and you struggle and you go through it, that is gaslighting. That is manipulating. No. Listen, this one is a real one. Keeping you a secret. Love is not someone keeping you a secret. Do you understand? Love is not someone keeping you a secret, where they're hiding you from all other parts of their life. They hide you. They don't want people to know you or about you. That is frightening stuff. And I hate to say that I've experienced this before, where they're in a relationship with you, right? They're in the relationship with you. But you don't know, do you know any of their friends? Do you know any of their family members? Do you know any of their colleagues? Do you know any of the people that they keep around them outside of you? It's a heavy one, but it happens more often than you think. It happens. They shouldn't be keeping you a secret, especially if you're the main person in their life, right? There's exceptions where it's situationships or you're a side piece or whatever. Okay, maybe the whole thing is premised on the fact that this is a secret. But if it's not a secret to you or them, then why are they keeping you from the people that are in their lives that they care about? They're keeping you a secret. Why are you hiding someone that you care about? And it hurts especially even more when you've introduced them to your life and the people that are around you and in your space. It hurts even more because it leads you wondering, what did I do? Is there something wrong with me that you wouldn't want to introduce me to family or friends or whatever the case may be? Is there something wrong with me? Am I missing something? Or they hide you. They hide you. That's not what love looks like. Finally, dismissing your boundaries. Love doesn't look like someone who's going to dismiss your boundaries, where they do not listen to the things that you do not like. They do them anyway. They continue. They repeat the action over and over and over again. Or they make you feel some type of way where they make you feel bad for standing up for yourself or fighting for yourself. Like, who are you to even think you can stand up for yourself by saying this to me? They make you feel bad for doing that. That is not what love should look like. That is not what love is. They make you feel shitty for literally just standing up for yourself and saying, I don't like this. I don't like it when you do this. Yeah. They respond to you by fighting you for choosing to fight for yourself. It's the craziest thing. They dismiss your boundaries when you tell them that I don't like it when you do this. Or even in moments of intimacy, I don't like it when you do this. They do it anyway. I don't like it when you lie to me. They do it anyway. I don't like you when you treat me like you're not hearing me. I don't like it when you ignore my feelings. They do it anyway. That's not what love should look like. That's not what love is. Ever. I hope this helps. I hate the fact that it's a really sad video, but I think it's a very, very important one, right? It's really important to be able to pick up on these cues, because a lot of relationships struggle with at least 3 of the things that I've mentioned. And if you and your person can work through it, that's fantastic. That's fabulous. But if you can't, and it keeps repeating itself over and over again, especially after you've mentioned it, and it keeps repeating itself over and over again and nothing changes, maybe it's time to reconsider that relationship. This even applies to friendships as well. Think about it. Because anything that is about love, right? Anything that's about love. Family situation, relationship, intimate relationships, friendships, anything that surrounds how you feel about someone else. All right. I'm going to leave it there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, thank you so much. Those are the thoughts that I have. Let me know if it's resonated with you and how. Let me know if there are other things that I have missed that you might have come up with in the comment section down below. If you did like it, please like the video, subscribe, watch the ads. Please like the video, because the more likes we get in the video, the more it pushes the video out to other people. And I would really love it if you could do that for me. Thank you so much, as always, for choosing me over and over again. Until the next video, I appreciate you so, so much. And I will see you in the next one. Until then, sayonara. And I hope you find the love that you want. And I hope you find the love that you're looking for. I really do. I really do. The romantic in me is fighting for us and believes that we will find it. Okay. I'll see you in the next one.